All right, so we get to the fundamentals here. So, like I said, it's going to be the stance and start. It'll be the stem. It'll be the breakdown of the route and the catch or the block. All right, so sorry. Talk about the stance. We're going to have a Z in the knee, toes, knees, shoulders, and a line. All right, weight balanced, and our hands could be down, but if we got press coverage, I want those hands up. So again, we kind of want all the kind of in a line here. Okay, the start, we're going to explode off the ball, rolling off that front foot while pushing with the back, trying to eliminate that false step. And really, this is versus off coverage. Your feet might split if you are pressed, and we can talk about some press coverage stuff later on. It's working all right. So you can see we're going to have toes, knees, shoulders kind of on a line. And then we just tell them, hey, we're going to get off on the ball, not worrying about the snap count, just watching the ball. All right, talking about the stem. The stem is the vertical push of the route. Big coaching point I always talk about is eyes up, pad level down. All right, eyes up. We want them running with their eyes up and having their pad level down, just almost like hiding their numbers from the DB. All right, so that is the stem of the route. All right, next is the breakdown. All right, so creating separation. We talk about we got a win versus man, and we got to. It's about spacing versus zone. So, it's man coverage. It might be a 10-yard route, and we love to get 10, but you know what? Sometimes that route might be 9. Rarely is it 11 versus press because usually it takes a little bit more time. And then spacing is just creating the proper space to put pressure on a defender. So it might be curl flat. Obviously, we're trying to put pressure on that flat defender, being able to get inside of it. And we have different breaks that we'll use in different routes. So two-step power cut, those are usually routes that are below 8 yards. We should be able to make a break and get out in 2 steps. All right. The deeper it gets, now what we're going to do is we're going to make a 3-step power cut. So then if I'm going to my left, I'll go right, left, right to make that break. So that first step will be my first break step. And it's usually just slightly elongated, trying not to give any indicators. All right. Speed cut is just what it is. You're basically going to make that cut in 3 steps. Again, so if I'm going to my left, I'll start it with my right foot. And then my left foot will be at a 45, and then my right foot will go over that. And it's just like you're running around a hoop. All right. Top gun. I think I said it before. So, I grew up in the 80s, and, most of you guys are maybe born in the 80s or 90s. I don't know. But there was a movie called Top Gun, and there was a line where it said, hey, slam on the brakes, he'll fly right by. But it's a technique where we're trying to run, and then some people call it a throw by. What we're going to do is we're going to put our hand on their back and just kind of give them a little shove and finish off with the other hand. Okay, we call it top gun. All right, and then ricochet is where we're actually going to run into the defender and ricochet off to create space. To make it legal, it's kind of the same as basketball block charge. So what you got to do is you got to make that defender kind of move into your path, and then you're allowed to get into them. Can't take them straight down the middle. You can get into the side, and then we're going to just lean in and just ricochet off. All right. We got the catch. All right. So one saying I've heard is see the point and catch the fat, eyes to the tuck. So see the point when the ball spins, we're watching the crosshairs. Okay. That's the focus point. And then we're going to catch the meat of the ball, okay, or the fat of the ball. All right. So pre-catch, arms extended. You just talk about making a diamond, but really our fingers aren't going to be touching. You're just going to have a little bit of space in there, and then your arm's going to be like shock absorbers. All right.
I'm just going to talk to you about some fundamental beliefs that I believe in for a route runner. So everything I talk about is playing with insteps, being able to change direction, whether you're blocking or whether you're running a route. So this is a drill that I would do like in OTAs or when you have time, and I call it the skater drill. And really all I'm doing is I got these cones, and you can vary them. They're about 4 yards apart, and all we're doing is just trying for the players to see how to land on their insteps. Okay. And what they want to do is have, you know, that knee staying inside their toe, because you can see here as Jordan goes out, when that knee comes outside the toe, they're really not landing on their instep. They're landing on their whole foot or on the outside part of their shoe. So that will invariably won't allow you to turn as quickly when running a route. So this is just something that, like you can see here, right? Getting outside the insteps, not feeling what it's like to play on the insteps, the inner half of your shoe where those cleats are in the ground. So you can see here, this is pretty efficient here by Gary Barnage, okay, where he's just able to hit his instep. Now, Gary wasn't a very fast guy, but obviously in route running, it's transition, change the direction out of the break. So the more guys can play in balance and on their instep, the better they'll be able to turn in a route. Now, I want to start with just how I train releases, okay? As a route runner, when you're playing inside as a slot player, so that could be a tight end or a slot receiver, you are going to have to start in or out on your route, right? So like if this would be like, imagine like the quarterback is over here, okay? So Jimmy's got his inside foot up, right? And we're just going to talk about an inside release, because always there's defenders, right? There could be a guy here, the guy here. If you just run straight, the guy's gonna relate and jam you, right? So what I'm trying to do is move the defender in the early part of the route so that I'm going vertical at the top of the route. In my opinion, once you train how to get off the line, that'll apply to every route that you run. So you can see here, we're about a yard off of this white line right here. Okay, now he's a yard and a half here, but I usually move it to a yard. All right, and all we're trying to do is he's going to go 2 revolutions with his inside foot. He wants to hit that line, and I call it a straighten up. Now, I'll just show you and talk through it. So you can see when Jimmy hits that line, this is where he's on his instep. It's no different than that skater drill that I showed you. So when he hits that line, he's going to straighten up now. Now, it's very important when we talk about balance, right? What I mean by balance is he does not want to cross that midline when he straightens up, because if he crosses his midline, he's not in balance, and then he's not really going vertical. He has to take another step, okay, to get himself in balance. So you can see here he hits. You can see how he does not cross his midline. He straightens up, and now he's launching into the route. So invariably, this is what you're going to do on routes, right? You want to get on an edge of a defender, straighten up and launch, right? Here it is, same drill, right? Again, really nice job here. This is a rookie free agent, but you can see, right, great example of the chop and launch. You're training players to have stride length and the play and balance to be able to change direction. So these would all be just inside releases. This would be a good example of the chop, okay? Watch 86 here, Jordan Reed. 2 revolutions, and watch the launch that he gets. He is still chewing grass going vertical on an edge. Imagine this is a defender coming to turn and jam him, playing fast on an edge. Now, how does it tie into your route? Whatever your routes are. So here's an inside release by Jimmy. So you can see 2 revolutions. You can see the straighten up, playing on his instep. Watch the vertical launch, not crossing his midline. Now, watch when he turns. He's still on his instep, right? Goes back to that drill, toe turn instep. Now he can run out of there. He does not throw his whole foot on the ground. No different here. Lance is just outside releasing. So right here, it's his instep, change direction. Launch into the defense. Nice job pushing vertical. Toe turn on the instep. I'm trying to eliminate as much chop into the route. All right, now that's an inside release. The other release I talk about is if we're going to use a slide step. Okay, so if we want to use a slide step, we're just sliding our inside foot okay, and running vertical. So maybe now I don't want to stem inside, right? I just want to slide step. So it's the same thing. Slide the inside foot and then just run vertical. Don't cross your midline. So you can see they're all doing a pretty good job here, just sliding the inside foot. This may be like on a stick route, right? You got leverage on the defender. He's way inside. Just slide your inside foot. That'll hold them. And then you can break out or break away from whatever route you have. Now, this is more like I talk about like a vertical step. Like, okay, so now let's say a route I'm running is like under 6 yards, right? So say I'm running like a shallow cross or like a OTB over the ball, okay? We talk about, because now you can't start in, then straighten up and do any of that, right? On this route, if it's a 5 to 6 yard route, right? You just got to stay on your angle for the timing of the quarterback. So we just talk about like a vertical step. So if this was a shallow cross, right? Or this was like I'm just running over the ball. So you can see all they're doing here, their back foot's coming in front of their front foot. Same thing, hit that instep, don't cross your midline. So we're just training, same thing, being efficient with the back foot. Everything again is balanced, not crossing the midline, vertical step and go. Because what this allows is you'll be able to see what the coverage does, right? If it's zone, they'll drop, so you'll know where you're going to stop, where you're going to snap up into the route, right? If you're running like a spot route, right, where you're an outside receiver coming in and you got some kind of swing route here, same thing, because the route's under 5 to 6 yards, right? I can't change my angle. Watch here. Great picture. You can see the vertical step. Again, don't cross the midline. He's into the route. Watch what he does to the defender. Hits his instep, cross, and go. Good picture here. You see how he's in balance. Doesn't crawl and off and running. Again, this is the difference, right, of creating some separation, right? Little thing, if that left foot crosses his midline, he's got to take another step to get back in balance to separate. Here, he's already created the separation to run away. So now we talk about press releases. So we're just working a hard stick with the back. No different. Just simulating, press, and going. And then we would do it here. You can see, right, I'm simulating. I'm on his edge. Pretty good here by Lance. Hard stick, vertical, chop, and go. Here's a look from the game. Caver's press. Jordan's got a corner out. So you can see here, the hard stick out. Just get him to move his feet. Chop just below the elbow, because he's going to turn. When you get on his edge, he's going to turn. Chop the near arm. Run the corner. Here's a good picture. Hard stick. See, if he just went straight, this guy is going to put his hands on him. Hard stick. All you got to do, watch him move his feet. That's all you need. Now get on the edge and run vertical. Any questions there, men? Okay, now, then the other release that I teach is like a step and a half. So this would be like the guy is kind of like he's pressed, but he's really not a hard jammer, right? He's kind of soft shoeing it, right? He's kind of sinking from a yard off. Okay, so here we just talk about a step and a half. So what is it? It's a vertical step and then it's just a half, right? A hard stick in or out that we just practiced. So you can see here, Vernon is taking a vertical step, and then he's just using a half, the hard stick and a chop. So I just call it a step and a half. Pretty good here, right? You can see Jordan, step and a half, and all it is now, it's that hard stick off the line to half the guy. So again, just training them a bunch of different ways, up and back, yada, yada. Another example, step and a half, right? It's truly not press, right, guys? You can see if the defender's not, and most of the time, you know, if it's not hard press, jam in the face, right? Most of the time it's not for the tight end. But you can see the vertical step, there's the half, get on the edge.